Right, so now we move, thanks so much Sam, to the update on recreation, sports and events. So Nigel and David are here. Thanks so much. This is going to be our last item before the break and the finish of the meeting. So if we aim to finish about 15:15, so 15 minutes. So I know there's a significant number of slides.
Oh yeah, look at that.
But we'll go through them relatively quickly. There's some really good update stuff for people.
Get there.
Right, thank you. Let's get started.
I wasn't intended. So kia ora, in terms of what we've got is we'll do a bit of an overview of the Rec, Sports, Events and Arts unit today in terms of some of the stuff we've got going, and happy to take questions at the end if we need to. We're going to...
Oh, microphones. Yep, that's it.
Obviously, we're part of the Citizen and Community Group. Our unit's focus is in terms of enhancing the wellbeing and the resilience of the citizens and communities. We contribute to safe, healthy and inclusive communities by providing high quality sports and recreation facilities, arts and events. We provide opportunities for people to express themselves and be challenged by arts, music, theatre, dance and other media to understand the celebration of many identities and our heritage as we work our way through that. In terms of what we do have is we have circa 5.2 million participations per year through the activities and the assets we have. Currently we have 600 staff. In terms of by the end of next year that will probably double to 1,200 as we open Parakiori, the Hornby Centre and Te Pou Toitoi. What you've got there is a photo from Matariki in terms of which is obviously earlier this month. Fantastic, just lighting up the pier and fireworks going off and all the people on the beach. What we have in terms of within our arts team, our arts and events team, we have an arts team who are coming to present to you, I believe, at the next meeting around Tō Ototahi, which is the Christchurch Arts Strategy. So I won't talk too much about that, but they'll come back and talk to you that. But I will confirm that we do have confirmed funding from Creative NZ and Rada Foundation to support the implementation of Tō Ototahi, which is nearly 500,000. So we'll be able to report that to you in more detail next time. But I know that was a question you've been asking previously. The focus of our arts team obviously is they had a big emphasis on Te Rama Mai, so celebrating Matariki, and certainly being able to bring that lighting show to the central city to get people through the city. So rather than being the show that we will remember back at Botanic Delights, where it was an event hosted in that, in terms of we're just getting the foot traffic and getting people back to explore our city. So slightly different feel, but certainly we'll have the numbers back by the end of this week of the economic impact and how many people came into the city over that time frame. So we really, in terms from feedback, it made a big difference. Event production team, we deliver New Year's as one of the events we deliver. Other events that our team prepares as Christchurch is Lit, the Summer Theatre, Kite Day, Symphony in the City, Lazy Sundays, Ototahi Together, which obviously was that concert that was in the gardens that came down, and obviously COVID alert changed, but we managed to live stream that quite quickly. The 10th anniversary of the Earthquake Memorial, the March 15th National Remembrance and the America's Cup Fan Zone, Anzac Dawn Service and Te Rama Mai. So it's quite a busy team in terms of, and they have quite a lot of participation through that. And then we have the events partnership team, obviously a challenge for them with 17 events that signed up to the CFPE program, and certainly it was a fantastic that through that last year we were able to divert 28.5 tonnes of waste through that program. So continuation of that fantastic project that started 3 years ago. They've also, this team provides significant support and advice through events that are delivered in the city and around, particularly through the COVID, so they do the event permitting elements, but certainly in terms of advice on how to deliver events, how to change things and work with event organisers to make this city as seamless as possible for when events are delivered here. And this is just an image of Sparks when Hagley Park, when it's full, just seeing how busy it is with noodle markets in the corner and the stage. The other stuff we do have is the provision of operational rec and sports facilities. We have 37 facilities currently throughout the city, with a gross replacement value of 293 million. That will likely double when you bring on Parakiori, Te Pou Toitoi and the Hornby Centre as well. So there's a significant amount of work that goes on in that space. Just as part of that team, obviously we're completing repairs at Graham Condon, and you've got I think there's a closeout report coming to the Finance Performance Committee shortly. You would have heard David talk about the closeout report of Napurnawai, and he spoke to that. And then we've also got repairs underway at Jelly Park that were completed, and the pool opened last week to put a liner in there to repair some of the earthquake damage to the tiles. And then Pioneer but also significantly coming up this year, we're replacing diesel boilers at Te Hapua outdoor pool and also at Cal Stadium, so they'll be replaced with air source just to reduce our impact. And we've also put LEDs throughout all of our facilities as well, LED lighting. And the other big thing we've got in terms of is making change to the amount of waste we have at our Rec and Sports Centre. So we've benchmarked this year. We currently have 65 tonnes of waste going through, so we're looking to divert that by 10% and send that elsewhere. So we've got some real goals in that space. And also work in that space that we do.
This is just a snapshot of a monthly way we look at how we're going, especially in the built spaces and the specialised spaces. So I wanted to share it with you and tell you a few stories about it. Within this, one of the campaigns that our fitness team ran this year was called Stronger Together, and that sort of typified the way that all of our unit worked across council and within the community, and that we did so much across our silos or our teams and so much more with the community, that we were focusing on trying to make sure that we helped Christchurch get back to the activity levels that they were enjoying pre the COVID period. We bucked the national trend. The rest of New Zealand was taking quite a dive post-COVID with the activity participations. You can see the numbers there that we actually exceeded the numbers of people being physically active pre-COVID, post-COVID environment. So we were very satisfied with that. A lot of that focus came from actually making sure we were trying to be as inclusive and diverse as we can, and we need to continue that focus. These are a few bullet points that explain some of the areas within fitness where we really tried to include people so that when someone walks into the spaces, they can see people that look like they are, so they feel more welcome and they feel more able to come there. This can be achieved through tours, through relationships, through dedicated programs, through partnerships with Sport Canterbury, through partnerships with local schools, helping people transport to the location, looking at all the barriers that were stopping people coming to the spaces and trying to open those doors more and more. Thanks, next. The swim education, again, like we have 5,000 people who participate in swim education, but the focus of the team was more about the people that weren't coming to the pools. And so it was about significant barrier about cost, and so through some funding and through some relationships with different agencies, both government and NGOs, we were able to increase the number of people that were accessing that service through direct financial support. It was lovely to get this mention from the Christchurch Methodist Mission on our Facebook page and their Facebook page, just acknowledging the way our teams were working stronger together. Within the sports community, naturally they're quite a competitive bunch. We're fortunate within Christchurch, through pre-COVID and post-COVID, we've had a lot more of a collaborative leadership approach. There's still more to go, but we managed to activate the sporting community post-COVID sort of the quickest in New Zealand. We were able to get everyone to agree when they would have their season started. Our colleagues in parks knew they had 2 weeks to get the parks ready and open again in time for the winter season to kick off. And because the winter season was impacted, the summer season was also impacted, and so rather than the sports trying to fight over who was going to get the volunteer and fight over who was going to have their season finale before the next season started, we were able to, over Zoom, get everyone to agree to a different approach and sign up to an MOU which was going to make sure that the season would finish well, that the kids would have a break, that the parents would have a break, volunteers could have a break, and that the kids could then get into the next season as well. It was the first one for across New Zealand. Has been used as a benchmark to roll out through the rest of New Zealand as well. It shows the quality of the relationships that our team has within our community. The pictures can tell 1,000 words. You've already heard me talk about the success of the 4 sports been at Ngā Pūnawai, but I think the true success was all the other sports that joined that space as well, and want to use that space more than just the normal codes that traditionally go and be in that space. Thanks, Nige. Hagley Oval, again, it was great that it's not just council coming up with assets, it's actually the community that are coming up with assets, that can support activity through the Canterbury Cricket Trust. And through those lights, we ended up having almost a doubling of participation of people going to the Oval last year, over the summer, and participating and watching that game and enjoying those experiences. We saw a significant shift in the section that we, rather than saying no, we say yes, and I'll talk for more of that in a second. But we had a group called Bike Bridge that were trying to find a home where they could run their program for immigrants wanting to learn how to bike in New Zealand, and they've been hunting around trying to find a place to do this. And so they turned up at Ngā Pūnawai and said, look, we just want a place that we can do this. And the team there was saying, sure, why not? and then they said, well, we've got some funding, we want to buy a container and be able to put it on your car park, can we do that? And we said, sure, but you actually don't need to buy a container because we've got an old one here that's surplus. You can just use that and you can use that money to go and buy some bikes. So just simple synergies that were just going along. And those are the stories that really tell of the stronger together approach. Thanks, Nigel. This is a wonderful example of through New Zealand. There are a whole lot of pools that were saying no to manus. Our lifeguards said, well, why are we saying no? Why don't we say yes? Why don't we actually encourage and help people come along and do manus in a way that is supporting them, and so supporting a different group of people to come and enjoy it. So we ended up running this competition that ended up on Christchurch Live and having some awards. And so that was just fantastic to sort of see it occur, and it occurred across our teams, it occurred across the community. We ended up getting prizes, and it just sort of all happened within a few days. And when we get to the core of the work, there are some times when we have to do some very dramatic things. The guy in the middle with the cap and the glasses actually died at our pools, but that team on the right saved him and brought him alive.
Oh, wow.
And so he was taken off to hospital after the team brought him back alive, and he came back with his family just to appreciate what this team had done for him.
That's beautiful.
We also, as some of you know, have campgrounds throughout Banks Peninsula and Christchurch. The satisfaction that the customers have in going to those spaces, which are their spaces, speaks very well. And it shows that we managed to almost get back to the numbers pre-COVID without internationals. So it was a stay local campaign. Back to you, Nigel.
Cool. So the final things is just to go through, obviously, to confirm the new facilities we do have coming on board. Obviously, you've Te Pou Toy opening at the start of October, which will be fantastic, and really looking forward to that. Hopefully there'll be some great news by the end of this week about the Hornby Centre and the awarding of the construction contract to that. But I thought it might be worthwhile just talking through Parakiori in terms of it's going to be significant for the city, and just to throw some images and just remind you what's going to be in there. So obviously in terms of, it's an opportunity for all, in terms of it needs to be for everyone. It's not for the elite, it's for everyone to be able to use this facility. Unlimited opportunities to connect, compete and play. In terms of it, it's open for everyone, like I just said before. People will compete there. There will be a competition pool. So Canterbury's only 50 metre pool with 10 lanes. A movable bulkhead that transforms it into two 25 metre pools. Be able to take 1,200 spectator seats. Meets broadcasting standards, local scoreboards, FINA compliant, and it'll be ideal for competition swimming, water polo, underwater hockey and canoe polo. There's also a dedicated dive pool, two 25 metre dive well, 20 by 25 metre dive well with 3, 5, 7.5 and 10 metre platforms, and two 1 metre and 3 metre springboards, and it's FINA compliant for deep water sports, so water polo, a whole range of different things will happen in that dive well. We have, on the dry side, we have show courts. There's 3 show courts with 2,500 fully retractable seating in event mode. Obviously, it's got media and broadcast facilities, but that's just an image of where we hope to have the red and black seats just to make this Canterbury. This is our facility. Get into the other side, which is the multi-purpose courts. So there's 6 multi-purpose courts on the dry side as well. That'll host more than 7,000 participations each week. And basketball, netball, handball, volleyball, futsal, pickleball, badminton's a whole range of activities that'll go on there. In terms of, and the team that Craig Hutchins is leading currently is engaging with the groups to make sure they're ready when this opens, and actually making sure that we have space for those sports that haven't had space previously. So pickleball, handball, a whole range of different things, because that's where the real opportunity for growth and participation is. It's just an image where people train and connect. In terms of the health and fitness side, there's 700 metres squared of a fitness centre. It'll be home to over 2,500 members. We'll have gym equipment, personal fitness centre, and just will add to the suite of fitness centres we have across the city. Group fitness studios there as well, so 350 metres squared of fitness studios, spin studio, mind and body rooms, full range of programs. Just conscious of time. The other thing is there's a performance movement studio, so 204 metres squared in terms of multi-purpose studio, and there's also a 224 metre squared studio with harness rigging for circo arts, etc., so caters for everyone. There's a health and wellness services, so in terms of within the building there will be offering leading sports doctors, podiatrists, physios, massage therapists. Customers will have easy access to a holistic approach to healthcare. High performance sport will be based in there, and Sports House, so Sport Canterbury and a range of other sporting organisations will also base themselves at Parakiori. There'll be food and beverage, retail merchandise, but certainly this is a key part. This is where we want people to come and hang, in terms of, this is a part for people to make themselves feel better. So, youth, people, teens, you don't have to be doing stuff, but this is just a cool place to be. And certainly we'll be looking to have some services through that, or just being able to connect with different people through those mechanisms. Getting through to the leisure side, there's 1,500 metres squared of leisure space, recreation pools, learned swim pools, family spa, warm water pool, sauna, steam, interactive features. But the main thing is there's 5 hydro slides also, and in terms of certainly it's New Zealand's first track to a hydro slide. So you stand there, cross your arms over your chest, the floor will fall out from underneath you, and you'll get up to speeds of 60 kilometres. Goes out pretty quick. You won't be on that one, Leanne? No. But 5 hydro slides, and then we get down to the aquatic sensory space. So this is the first of its kind in New Zealand. So this is a replication of the Southern Centre that's currently at Pioneer, but this is an aquatics version of that. So people can come, sensory experiences in a nice controlled environment, so people can become comfortable and understand and enjoy the play of water. That's all I've got in terms of it. Certainly we're looking over 2 million visitors per year. It's the second largest in Australasia, but it's going to be magnificent when it opens, and our team's working really, really hard to get that ready, along with Te Pou Toi Toi. And the other one I have missed off is Hipuna Taimawana, and great success, 126,000 people through in its first year when we'd aim for 75,000, so great success, and Tuna continues to be really successful.
That's fantastic. 36 slides, very quickly done. Huge range of information there, and I know people have questions, so open to questions. And after questions, we'll be moving to the break and then back at 2 o'clock for the development contributions. So the length of the meeting is based on the length of the questions. Yanni, then Anne.
One thing that stands out with Parakiori is there's no early learning centre. And one thing that's come up is that we don't seem to be putting parent rooms into our facilities. Do we have any sort of policy around the provision of facilities? Like, we're obviously improving a lot with accessibility, but for parenting, we sort of seem a bit behind.
Absolutely. I'll give you a real example. So at Te Pou Toi Toi, in terms of in the multi-purpose room, we're working with an organisation to provide childcare in that room while parents are utilising the pools and the facilities. So rather than having a dedicated standalone space, we're utilising spaces when they're available to allow those sorts of things to happen. So yes, we are doing those sorts of things,
right,
in terms of, but no, there's no policy on in terms of how often or when we need to have early childhood. And actually, the early learning centre was actually removed early on in this project.
Yeah, but in terms of the actual, like, if you go to the art gallery, they've got a really awesome parent room. If you go to the library, it's a lot. It's got done. No, I appreciate.
Yeah, no, we don't have dedicated early learning centres, but certainly we look to work with families to make them come. So hopefully, they come with others and they share themselves. Look after the 2 younger children. While
I was just interested in the parenting facilities that's available. Facilities.
Sorry, in the change room area.
Not change. It's more like for feeding people, breastfeeding, all that sort of stuff.
No, we don't have dedicated rooms for breastfeeding within our facilities, but certainly open to allowing people to use spaces for those types of things, and we're pretty comfortable people can use them within the facility as well.
Right, okay. Just the other thing I wanted to check on is, in terms of the campgrounds, I mean, we didn't obviously get much information. Are we running those campgrounds ourselves? Like, I don't quite understand all the different relationships we have with the operators, ones we operate, ones we lease out. Do we have are we able to get kind of just a bit of feedback around, what's been happening, particularly with, I guess, COVID? But I know we've done, for example, we've been out to O'Kane's Bay.
Yanni, the question's clear, so we'll just let them answer.
So there are 5 spaces at the moment that have campground on council land. One is a lease, which is the South Brighton one, which is a full lease for a private provider to operate the space. The other 4 spaces are currently run by staff within my team. The Cairns Bay is on Māori land, but it's looked after by the council under agreement, and so at the moment they run at a cost neutral situation.
Right, so do we directly employ the staff that
We do.
that
Yes.
run the campgrounds?
For Cairns, Spencer and Devotionals.
Right.
Pigeon Bay is, we have a caretaker who looks after the toilets.
So we're not contracting in any companies to run services at them?
No.
That's great, thank you. Anne?
Thank you, Stuart. There's a couple of things you may not be able to answer. How many people will Pakiori employ? Do you know? Any ideas? It looks
Yeah, we do. I think there'll be maybe about 400. Obviously, it depends on terms of whether they're short, part-time or not, until when you start walking through casuals, swim tutors, a whole range of different things. So you've got to remember a group fitness instructor comes, delivers one class, and then disappears. So it's a significant investment.
Yeah.
It's a large facility.
great. And also just the food and beverage, we've got the healthy food policy thing, so that obviously directs what goes in there.
Yes, that was all part of the RFP.
Great,
That's great, thank you. Phil, then Jimmy, then Andrew.
Thanks, Nigel. The hot pools, correct me if I'm wrong, did we budget to help them out to the tune of 700 grand, but now they've got so many people going in there, they haven't used that money? Yes, it must have helped the situation.
That's correct, and as per the email that came out to council, it's just clarifying in terms of, so we haven't had to subsidise the pools as per the original business case to the same extent. So it's fantastic, and I think the main thing with that in terms of it's the additional investment that's bringing into New Brighton. So in terms of, I think in that email also talked about the additional money that's been spent in Brighton since the whole pool's open.
And one thing I noticed down there, the initiative you guys had, well, maybe with Merrin, to chop that front fence down so you can see the sea from being in the pools, which is...
That's right, there was an adaptment to make sure you can sit in the pools and actually see the sea, so we just cut
That's
the fence,
really good.
put it on hinges and fold it down.
Thank you.
That's great. Jimmy.
Thank you. Two questions. The first one, because you estimate 2 million people per year, and also cover local, regional, and international one. So every day, average is every day is around 5,500 people, also diverse people. So first one, I'm concerned whether those transport have any detailed transport or traffic management plan, give the people can be the access to the new facility more safely, etc. Second one is follow the end questions. We have 400 staff, I just want to know whether CAR consider those diverse the staff can meet the diverse these people's needs, like a library, etc. They have
Thanks, Jimmy.
more kind of diverse. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a transport assessment, so certainly making sure people can access from the bus exchange to Parakiori or drop-off zones or buses, making it as close as we can. So there is a whole lot of work that's gone around making sure that's accessible, along with bike parks, walking, a whole range of different things that I could share if you wanted the detail around that, but that's taken care of. The other one around in terms of, we want to make sure our staff and our team reflects the communities they serve. So certainly our recruitment practices, and you'll see this through Te Pou Toi Toi in terms of is the people in the community are employed within our rec and sports centres.
That's great. Thank you very much. Andrew?
Thank you. Great to see the progress on Te Pou Toi Toi and Parakiori, and obviously an announcement on Hornby we're hoping for soon as well. What's been provided at those 3 facilities by way of gender-neutral bathrooms, gender-neutral changing facilities?
Yeah, great question. I believe in terms of our establishment team came and presented to Aaron's committee, in terms of the accessibility committee, certainly in terms of the changing places, in terms of the size that we're working through, in terms to make sure, so in those facilities in terms of changing places for size, but certainly in terms of working through with Rainbow Tick to try and get accreditation to make sure that we are training our staff appropriately, people feel safe and they know that they are safe when they come to our facilities, and they can use whichever rooms they feel comfortable with and identify with.
So there will be gender-neutral facilities at all 3?
Yes.
Great. Thank you.
Any further questions? No. Do I have someone to move the receipt? Thanks, Pauline. Someone second. And any debate?
Just say, look, that's been fantastic. I think it's a really good move to have this. So, well done. A beautiful presentation, and it's really good to celebrate the things that we're doing really well for the people of Christchurch. And I know the Christchurch people really value the facilities we provide, and I'm really encouraged by your positive responses to all the questions today too. So, thank you.
Yeah. Anything else, Anne?
Yeah, just following on, just thank you for the work that you do, but also I think we all appreciate the way that you flexibly adapt to situations, and that whole, I think you said, stronger together approach is wonderful, so thank you.
Right, and with that, I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Any against? Declare that carried. And then we'll get Pauline